Hey y'all, so now we're ready to go ahead and hop into the first stage. And in this level, we're going to be learning just about everything else that you really need to succeed in Nioh 2. So this is going to be more of just a typical game walkthrough. I'm going to be playing through the stage. I'm going to be looking for these Kodama here, right? There's 7 of them I want to look for. And there's going to be one Dark Realm that I need to dispel. I know ahead of time that it's mandatory, so I'm not going to miss it, but just mental note, those are things I'm looking for in this level. And then as we go through, I'm just going to try to, shout out to important concepts that we've learned already, just to try to tie everything together. This level shouldn't be too tough, but, just the nature of a Nioh game is that sometimes you can just die, right? You get ambushed, you die. You fall into the water, you die. And just don't feel bad if you get killed. That's just how the game works. Alright, just grabbing these little pickups on the ground. Now, these graves, by the way, I should talk about these for a moment. This is multiplayer stuff, although even if you're offline, there are some that the devs put in regardless. The blue ones are helpers, or summons, right? You call them in, they accompany you for X amount of time, they fight enemies for you, yada yada. There's also red ones. Red ones come from when other players die. And if you open a Revenant, the red grave, you'll fight like a copy of their character that died. And then if you kill them, the drops will include pieces of gear that character was wearing. So like you can get ahead on gear if you do that, if you really care. I don't want to mess with it though. So here we have a Gaki. This is like the basic yokai of the game. As you can see, this is one of the ones where you can kind of hit stun them by attacking. So you don't really need to worry about them too much. When it's a 1v1, they can be dangerous in a couple of situations. When they're in the Dark Realm, which we'll see later, they can be dangerous because they can paralyze you. And then when there's more than one, they can be dangerous. They like to hide and grab you, and if they grab you, they will get big, and the bigger one's a lot more scary. Alright, so here is a Mezuki, I think, or a Gozuki, I can never remember which one. There's no reason to fight him right now. We could. He's not really particularly tough. Actually, there is one thing I want to showcase with him about how this game's tracking works. So, here we go. You see that? How I dodged at the last second? Oh, well, not at the last second. I dodged relatively late, and they still kind of tracked me. That's just how this game works. The enemies have really good tracking in this game, so if you're gonna do a dodge, you want to be like very late with it, and also you want to get in the habit of like if you're dodging, hold block while you do so, and that's just kind of like a free option select that this game lets you do. Right, I'm holding block and I'm dodging. That way, if I'm too late, then I just block the attack instead, and if I'm way too early, then I'll dodge and then block in my new location. So just a really good option select. It's extremely powerful in this game, and it's free. You can just do it. All right, so here's one of the Kodama, right? And there's a little bit of a sound cue. They have like a little like noise that they make, so you can kind of tell where they are. And again, there is that accessory that comes with the DLC boons that you can equip that will just put a little green dot on your minimap when you have a Kodama nearby. So that's just a helpful tool, a helpful leg up you can get if you've got the DLC. That's also an affix you can just find on pieces of gear. Alright, so now I've got that door open. I can pop this shrine real quick since I took that hit on the Mezuki or Gozuki, I can never remember. Alright, so since we picked up a Kodama, I'm now able to access the make offering option at the shrine. This is going to be the perk that getting Kodamas offers you, and it lasts for an entire region on the map, right? Or an act, I suppose you could call it. So I go to the Receive Kodama Blessing here, and you'll see different types of Kodama correlate with different kinds of blessing, right? Like I got a green cup one here, and it's the Healer Blessing. It's the only option I have, so I might as well pick it. Elixirs are your healing item, right? And as you play, it's a little bit like Bloodborne, I suppose, where enemies can drop some and you can kind of sustain your healing economy that way as long as you're not getting hit too much. And this can help with that. You can also run out, and you can buy more easily, but if you do find yourself running out, you might as well pick this one. The only other one I would consider for, like, this run, like your first run of the game, probably, is just the Amrita up. Like, you've got other good ones, like Soul, core drop rates. I mean, they're all good, but I usually just am playing with Amrita up for my first playthrough. Really doesn't matter too much, but yeah, you get some pretty good perks from those. Alright, I'll kill this Gaki again. Go grapple him, and he's dead. Cool. Alright, so as we go, until we get a perk called enemy radar or enemy sense, I forget what it's called, where it'll show you little red dots on the radar. This game does like to try to, you know, do the good old Souls trick of hiding enemies behind corners and on ledges, trying to finesse you. That doesn't really work when you have the enemy radar because you can just see the red dot there. This is going to be really, really helpful in stage 3, in particular, which is going to be one of the stages I think a lot of new players tend to get stuck on. Is going to be stages 1, 2, and 3, especially 3. All right. So we see we have 2 Gaki here. One valuable piece of strategic advice for this and any other action game really is you want to try to fight as few enemies at a time as possible, right? Like, you never want to take the 2v1 if you don't have to. You never want to take the 3v1 if you don't have to. Just try to split enemies up. And we're going to get a ranged weapon on this level eventually, and that's really going to help with the whole don't fight a lot of enemies at once kind of thing. Try to have my guard up when I peek the corner. We got a chest here. There are mimics in this game, but they don't really work the same way as they do in Souls games. Also, I must have a funny loot notification thing. I think I have it set to just tell me when I get purples, but I can take a look at the pieces of loot that I've been getting. I have it sorted by newest currently. Let's change that to level. There we go. So I'm currently using a level 1 axe and a level 1 Uchigatana. I can change that real quick. I have a level 5 Uchigatana, and then for the axe, I have a level 3 dual katana, I suppose. There we go. So we've got 2. Oh wait, that was the DLC thing. I don't want to be wearing any DLC stuff. Just for the viewers who don't have it. Alright, I'm just going to stick with this Uchigatana for now, actually. And then here we go. One more thing I wanted to cover for gear, now that I actually have pieces of armor that have dropped. A couple of things you want to notice. Most important is at the top where it says equipment weight. I'm currently in the green, right? You see the 36 that I'm at currently is green, and then if I was to put any of these on, it's still green afterwards. I'll just take this one, it gives more defense. So you want to make sure that your equipment weight, well, my recommended playstyle, I should say, is that you want your equipment rate to be in the green. Or if you can swing it, you can also go below 30, which I don't remember if it's blue. I'm pretty sure it's blue. I can check. Yeah, you could do blue as well. That's fine. But yeah, I recommend keeping it in the green. That way you have a good blend of defense, but also your key economy won't be too heavily impacted by being heavyweight, because key is everything in this game. The other thing that's important is there's a stat right here called toughness. All right, you see this stat right here, toughness. That's going to kind of be like, what is the word Souls games have for it? It's how easily you get staggered out of stuff, and also kind of just how sturdy you are when you're blocking and taking hits as far as key damage goes. I know they have a word for it, I just can't remember. You're going to want this to be 150. That's like a breakpoint you want to hit. Obviously, that's not something I can really do with the options that I have right now, I don't think, unless I use this DLC stuff, which, I mean, no reason not to. I could just put this on, right? But that's going to be really helpful, and that's my recommended playstyle throughout the entire game, is equip the strongest weapons you can as you get them, and try everything, right? If there's a weapon or two that you just really don't like, I mean, that's fine. you can ignore those. But I do recommend just every time you get something good, like I have this level 5 Uchigatana, way stronger than all my other weapons. Even if I wasn't necessarily like maining in quotation marks the sword, uh, I want the power that this gives me. You know, stay ahead of the power curve. Same with the gear, right? Just kind of swap to whatever gives you the best defense while also keeping your toughness at 150 or above, and then your weight below 70%. And then, of course, the last thing is you can see this has a special effect that's grayed out, and it's grayed out because I don't meet the Constitution requirement. So that can be something I'm looking for. I know that my Guardian Spirit also has a Constitution requirement. Now, granted, it's for something I don't really care about, but it would make sense for me to put a point in Constitution at my next level up, just so I can unlock all of those bonuses. All right, cool. So that's it for that. Now I know there is a enemy out here. There we go. So when you see a situation like this, right, there's like a suspicious cloud situation going on. That's just going to be a hidden enemy. And then when you approach it, it's going to pop out and it's going to roar and have a key pull. So I like to just go in with a little bit of red key just so I can immediately key pulse it. But be careful because it can stagger you. So if you're, running around the map like this and you're low key and you run into one of those clouds, it's gonna wind you, so that's not something you want to happen. So I'm just gonna go in there, get rid of the key pool. All right, you can see these guys have a pretty predictable moveset. He has a jump up and throw the spear, and then he rolls to me. He has the swing, swing, stab. Here comes swing, swing, wind up, stab, and that's about it for this guy. All right, I got him out of key, so I'm just gonna wail on him a little bit. Purify the pool, jump, throw, free punish for me, swing, swing, get ready for the stab. Just a regular stab, a lot of wind up on that, easy to react to, swing, swing, stab. Let my key get up, stab. Oh, I'm on dual swords. I thought my moveset felt funny. I didn't realize I hadn't swapped over yet. Alright. How do I switch weapons? There we go. Did I do it? I don't think I did. Swing, swing, stab. Just do a heavy attack. And he's dead. Alright. So he dropped a soul core. These are a really nice mechanic. I can't do anything with it until I go to a shrine, and so just... Which one of these is the dang sword? Am I silly here? Oh, the Uchigatana was a dual sword this whole time. Whoops. Okay, I can't actually tell which one I have equipped, but their damage is comparable. It doesn't really matter. Alright. So yeah, just kind of whenever I poke my head around another new corner, just kind of put the block on, just knowing this game is mischievous. It likes to ambush you, and just don't want to get caught unawares. Never just dash around a new corner, especially because if you dash around a new corner and then your stamina is low and you get hit and you get winded, you're just gonna die. And that's just how it is in this game. It's not a big deal. Dying in this game is not a big deal. It definitely don't need to worry about it, right? It can feel bad if you die and you're like, oh, dang, I just lost like 100,000 Amrita, and maybe that feels bad, but trust me, it will not matter at all in the long run. You will be at a point in the end game where you are getting, and I'm not exaggerating here, you will be getting trillions of Amrita in a single stage, easily. So, don't sweat dying and losing your stuff. Obviously, if you die, you want to pick up your corpse, get your stuff that you dropped. But, if it happens, don't worry. Happens to everybody. You are going to lose heaps of Amrita, but you're also going to make it all back in it. So no big deal. Oh, okay, so I've gotten a blue pop-up here. It says I got a skill point and proficiency for dual swords. So that's a mechanic in this game. You kind of get weapon XP as you play with it. The higher the difficulty, the later in the game, the more XP you get. and then you spend this XP and here to get new skills and abilities for your weapons, right? And this is another reason why I kind of recommend just swapping between really good drops. That way, you're kind of just trickling in XP for the weapons that you're getting, and unlocking proper move sets for them, right? Like a lot of weapons, they don't quite have the best game plan out of the jump, and you got to unlock a couple of skills to get something going. This is laid out in a particular way. Up top, this is going to be your high stance skills and abilities, and then over here to the left, this is your mid stance skills and abilities. Down here on the bottom, this is your low stance skills and abilities, and then off to the right, it's kind of more of a mixed bag, but generally speaking, it tends to be like EI kind of stuff, like draw attacks and whatnot, but it can be a lot of random stuff as well. All right, so usually when I'm leveling this up, I don't really think about it too hard. I tend to want something that's like a good key damage dealer on my weapons. I want something that's good against blocking enemies, and I want something that's like a burst damage option, right? So I'm just going to get the Sign of the Cross. This is like an EI, a very fast EI tool that dual swords have access to. So that's going to check the box for like fast damage option. Like, check this out. Pretty quick. There's a trick with this. Works with the other EI skills as well. We'll talk about that later when I get a ranged weapon. Alright, so let's take this guy out. Don't know why I locked off there. Alright, so I bounced off his guard. Just want to, like, just play safe in this game, right? You don't have to take risks. When I bounced off his guard, I didn't want anything bad to happen by continuing to mash. That's something really bad that you do not want to get in the habit of, is like, I'm over here mashing square, and my light attacks are bouncing off his guard. Bang, 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 bang. Like, sometimes that'll work for you if they're taking more guard damage than you're spending. So, like, eventually, if you keep it up, you're gonna win them. But, like, there's better ways to deal with that situation that don't involve, like, spending all your ki and not putting the enemy in hit stun at all. And this seems like the kind of situation where you'd get ganked. Good damage on the Sign of the Cross there. Alright. Another Kodama here. That one has the Black Cup. Don't remember which buff that is. I think that might be the one that I like. That gives you more Emrita. We'll find out at the next shrine. Okay. So I think we're mostly done with this. Alright. My key's getting low. No need to take a risk. Alright. And then that's another thing. Sometimes you have attacks that are stronger than the grapple would be. So when the enemies are winded, you want to get behind them to get more damage when you attack stuff from behind, and that works for you too. If you get hit from behind, you take more damage. You just get behind them, blast them with whatever nuke you've got. That'll be stronger than the grapple, with also the benefit of, like, restanding them, and they'll have less ki than they would have. Okay, so I think I've explored everything over there. Hit the shrine. So now, when we had killed that Enki, the monkey guy with the spear before, he dropped a soul core, we picked it up, and it's kind of in our inventory. Now, if I had died, that soul core would be included with my corpse bloodstain, and you definitely want to go get those back, especially now at the beginning. These are useful for a few reasons. And then when you hit a shrine, you'll purify all of the soul cores that you had. This works kind of like unveiling legendaries in a Diablo or something. It reveals the soul core itself, which is going to be like a special move associated with the enemy that dropped it, and then it's also going to have a list of special effects here. Some of them are random, and some of them are like specific to that core. There's a whole song and dance about maximizing this. I recommend not worrying about this whatsoever for a while. It can be useful, but like you can just completely ignore all this stuff and just have nice little bonuses. You equip these, we can level up. I wanted 1 point in Constitution, and then, actually let me go back and see what I needed for my Guardian Spirit. I needed 1 Constitution for my Spirit and for the piece of armor that I'm wearing, and I needed 2 between Courage and Magic. I would prefer Courage right now. 1 Constitution, 1, 2 Courage. Perfect. Alright, now just like that, we can take a look. My Guardian Spirit, I have access to all the effects in the list, and if I go over to my piece of equipment, I have access to all of this. Very good. Do these make a big difference? Not necessarily, but it's free power, and those are stats you wanted anyway, so might as well get them right. Okay, and then there was something else we wanted to do while we were here. Setting the soul core, that's what it was. So that's in Manage Guardian Spirit, which is here. We pick the spirit that we're using, and then we see at the bottom we have a mapping for square to attune a soul core, so let's do that. We have 1 soul core to equip, so we'll pick N key, and then we can put it in one of our slots. Put it in the one that's R2 plus triangle. So now we have another way we can spend our Anima gauge, I mean. So as we knew from before, you could press circle, and you would get your mechanic for your Guardian Spirit, either the dodge or the hit or the block. Now if I press triangle, you can see it costs 5, so that costs half of my full bar. And when I do that, I'll jump up and throw a spear. Now I can only do this once for demonstrative purposes, so I'm going to show something off. When you use these, your ki will regenerate while the animation is playing out. I'll demonstrate. So if I'm pressuring an enemy like this, and then, you know, I'm low on ki, they're low on ki, I have a good opening, just throw this out there, and then I'm continuing to pressure my enemy by using that ability, and I got about, like, just under half of a ki bar back during the animation. And then that way I'm good to either, you know, resume my defense or resume my pressure and kill the enemy. One other thing that does for you, you remember how when you fight yokai, when you do the damage to them, they will lose ki, but also some portion of the ki that they lose is also reduced from their maximum ki. These Guardian Spirit attacks will, or excuse me, these Soul Core attacks will do a lot more than usual maximum ki damage. So it's in your best interest, especially when you're fighting beefy yokai and bosses especially, to pepper them with Guardian Spirit attacks frequently, because if you do that, you'll reduce their maximum ki, which means they stagger more often, and then they also will be grappleable more often. So you just get a lot of benefit from that. Okay, so we see there's a guy right here, and there's a guy up there, and I can hear a yokai. I can't see it, but it's probably over there. So we can try to sneak up on this guy. A trick I like to use, I messed up, of course. I'm not sure if he saw me or heard me, but... And then you do not, by under any circumstances, fight anybody on these bridges, right? You're one slip up from perishing. Now this game does have protection, right? Like if I'm over here and I'm mashing, it's not gonna have me step off of the edge, right? So you do have protection there, right? Like if I sign to the cross here, it normally goes very far forward. It's not gonna take me off. But I can easily walk off the edge, roll off the edge. The enemy can like do my camera, make my camera do something funky. So like I'm trying to go here, but the enemy sidesteps to me, and my camera goes whoop, and then now my forward input takes me off. You don't want to deal with that. Just kite them off the bridge. Never fight in a bad spot. Like this game is really rewarding for choosing your battles. Keep your engagement small. Fight enemies one at a time, kite them to somewhere safe like this, improve your odds in every way possible. When I get a ranged weapon, we're really going to be able to lean into that. Alright, so I got that guy. I'm just going to bring him over here, so I don't have to deal... See, there's an archer back there. I can't see him, but I saw the arrow. I don't know what my my grapple didn't come out there. I must have been too far away. Get my health back up. Okay, I see the archer now. Kind of hard to make out against the background there. At least from where I'm sitting on the couch. Alright. So over here, this is the door that leads into that Mezuki arena. Right? There he is. When you kill him, if you do kill him, you do get a key that takes you to that door, so it's kind of like a little micro shortcut, skips a lot of the level. Not really that crazy of a reward, because like you're going to want to do this anyway. But since we have this N-key Sokor, there's actually, I think it's like worthwhile content to fight this guy. I can kind of just show off the loop of gameplay that goes into fighting a boss when you have access to Sokors. Also, here we go. This is Samurai skill tree. This is like a universal one that affects everything that you do. This is another such universal, is the Shiftling. The Ninja and Onmyo are also universal. So for the Samurai, first things first, these ones right here, these first nodes, they buff your key pulses, and you want all of those, right? And then this one over here, Flux. This is like one of the most important skills in the game, especially when you level it up to Flux 2 here. We can't do that yet, but when we get access to this, we'll talk about that. So now, I got Flux. I strongly recommend you get that first. And then also I want to buff my key pulses, right? And we can see that they will give you different things, right? If I do a perfect key pulse in high stance, I get an attack boost for my next hit. For the mid stance one, it makes the next block completely free. Like, you can block any attack that's blockable, and you'll take 0 key damage from it. That can be really useful if you have bosses that are doing big hits. There are many such bosses. They have one single big hit that'll do enough key damage to break your guard straight up. Except with this, you can just, don't care. Same deal here. It makes your next dodge free. I'm going to take the block one for now. Okay. Got to talk about Flux. How does this work? Well, when you key pulse, normally what we've done so far is we just tap R1, right? But with Flux, you can do something a little different. Instead of just tapping R1, change stances. So when it's time to key pulse, and if I'm in mid, change stance to high. Now you may have noticed something there, right? Let me spend a little more key so it's more obvious. When I key pulse, I didn't just get the whole white bar back, I got a decent chunk extra, right? Take a look. I got a pretty massive chunk extra key there. So that's how Flux works. If you change stance when you do your key pulse, you get a lot more key back. And that's very vital, especially if you're in a scrappy situation with an enemy, especially a human, right? You're low-key, they're low-key, but it seems like, when you stop your offense to get more key back, the amount you get back is about equal to the amount they get back as a defender, so you're kind of at a stalemate. This really helps you push through. So if I'm, pressuring an enemy like this, and then I can do that, and I keep getting a little extra key, a little more than I'm spending. Really useful. Okay, let me stop yapping and fight this guy. Alright, so see how that single overhead slam took my entire key bar? If I keep this mid-stance perfect key buff up, no such issue. I can just take the hit for free. Take the hit for free. He whiffed somehow. But I would have taken the hit for free. Throw in a Sokor. Finicky. Alright, he's almost broken. He keeps whipping, that's funny. See how nice that is, just being able to block stuff and taking no key damage for it? Very helpful. Alright, my anima bar is getting high, So I want to try to hit him with a N key. Let's go ahead and get him. There's a pull on the ground. I want to purify that for the boost. I got soul broken. If he would have attacked again, I could have just... why did I say soul broken? I got staggered. I've been playing too much of that Bleach game. Alright, he's going to do this. Oh my god. What am I bouncing on? Alright. We're getting in a not so great place to fight over there, so I'm going to just kite him out here in the open again. I still need to break those horns, which I haven't done. There we go, good grief. Purify that soul pool. Demon realm? What do they call those? They call it something. Purify. Get my defense buff up. So I didn't get punished there, but okay, and then I can just do this. Doesn't matter if I get my defense broken. Again, doesn't matter if I got my defense broken. I knew his attack string was like not going to continue, but if it had, I could have just canceled into my Guardian Spirit dodge. Uh-oh. Which I should have done there. I actually thought he was done. I mistimed my dodge there. Whoopsie. Uh-oh. Mistimed it. Very dangerous. Yeah. Oh yeah. I haven't talked about grabs. You notice how when he does that particular move, it was black and white on top of the red aura? I know it's a lot of overlapping particle effects, but there's like a black and white cloud. Those are grabs. They're unblockable. You can, when it's red, obviously you can do this, and that'll work. But there's another feature about grabs. When you have a yokai ability where it like changes your character's appearance completely into a yokai, you're immune to grabs. It's like a nice little feature. Yeah, here's the key that he gave me. It goes back to that shrine. So that's another thing that you can keep an eye out for when you're getting yokai abilities, is full transform ones that'll make you immune to grabs. Some areas will have enemies that are very grab heavy. Something like that could be useful. I still haven't found a ranged weapon, I don't think. Have I? Nope, I haven't. I know there's one around here somewhere. Let's take a moment, see if I can get my toughness up to 150. Oh, I sure can. That was easy enough. Alright, so that gives me the most defense and toughness. So now I'm chilling. I can just go for the highest defense on my stuff until my weight gets too high. So this one gives me 27 defense, but it's too heavy. This one gives me 25 and it's not too heavy. And it also makes my dash cheaper. That's pretty handy. Alright. This one is a little bit too heavy, but that is a lot of defense. Let's see if I can cut back on a little bit of weight so I can cash in on all that defense without sacrificing on my toughness. Okay, I can't. So let's go back to this Heirloom Greaves and take it back down to Lone Wolf. Cool. And don't have to think about this too hard. Just, you know, within reason, just keep your equipment weight below 70 and your toughness high, and then just maximize defense there within reason. I do have one accessory that I found. It increases my max ki, which is nice. And then let's take a quick pass at our weapons, sorting by level. That Uchigatana that we had found is still our best drop. And that seems to be all that we're finding right now, is Uchigatana. That's funny. Alright. Cool. Alright, we got that guy. I think that was the archer that was shooting us from before. As you can see, there's the other archer that's currently shooting at us on top of the roof. So I want to be mindful of how I engage, right? Always be very cautious. We know there's that archer there, and we see that enemy straight ahead. So if I was to rush ahead and fight that enemy, I would be dealing with at least him and that archer. And that's not including any potentially sneaky hiding enemies that might be around here somewhere else. So just pick your battles. Pick your battles. Pick your enemies. Pick your locations. Do it all wisely, so you don't end up in like a checkmate scenario. Because if you get checkmated in this game, you'll die immediately, right? You get hit by two guys, you get key broken, and then you get hit again, and you're dead. Just like that guy. That's you if you don't pick your battles wisely. Got a ladder here, comes up on the roofs. Let's see. Observing my surroundings, we can just drop down in here. Grab this shiny. Try to peek around the corner there. We see the axe guy. Can I get the shiny, please? Thank you. Where is that bow at? Did I miss it? Oh, I missed it. I picked it up and my item notifications trolled me. Cool. Alright, so you've got our bow. Still haven't got a better weapon. Alright, so now that we have the bow, it was over here somewhere. I forget which one of these shinies had it. Ranged weapons in this game are crazy. Here's how they work. The bow works like this. Relatively quick to pull out, quick to put away. If you dodge while you're using it, you'll do a quick step, and then you'll redraw the bow. Or you can dodge out, let go of the button, and you're back to neutral. You can press R3, and it'll do a little bit of a zoom. When you're targeting an enemy, your reticle turns red. When you're targeting a head, it turns whatever's going on there. There's a red with some yellow or orange going on. Your ammo is over to the right. You can see that I have 9 regular shots and 2 whatever this is. I don't really usually bother with ammo much. Just shoot the default shot. Okay, check this out. I guarantee you this is going to one-shot him. Just straight up. Headshot just kills the guy. So, ranged weapons in this game are insane. They're slow and bulky. So, if enemies see you, it might be a little sus to try to pull out the bow and shoot them. But, like, if you're in a situation where, maybe I turn this corner and there are, 2 guys. I could have headshotted the weaker of the 2, the spear guy, and I guarantee it would have killed him. So yeah, just picking my battles here. There we go. Trying to set the stage up, that whole fight, to where he was on this bridge with risk of falling into the water, and I was never on the bridge with risk of falling into the water. And so that way, just anytime I hit him, I could just knock him in the water and end the fight immediately. So that's just really useful stuff. So yeah, like this guy, he doesn't see me. Headshot, he's dead. And if it didn't kill him, it would do massive damage, and it would drop him to the floor, and then I could run up and grapple him. So I cannot stress enough how insanely useful the ranged weapons are in this game. Absolutely recommend using and abusing them. This just plays into the whole dynamic of choose your battles, right? You can see that there's 3 enemies. You can one-shot one, make it a fight of 2 enemies. Maybe you can kill 2 of them, presuming that they didn't see you kill the first guy. Now it's just a 1v1. 1v1s aren't so bad in this game. Usually you can win those without any trouble whatsoever. 2v1s, very dangerous. Even against 2 weak enemies, one gets off your camera and hits you from behind, you're dead. You just die. So, use and abuse those ranged weapons. Same deal. This guy, I think he has a helmet. If he has a helmet, watch what happens. Knock the helmet off, did no damage. That's what happens when you shoot guys with helmets. That is one thing you're going to want to keep an eye out on. Let's see if I can take this guy out. There we go. and he seems to have forgotten I was here. So here's what happens if it doesn't one-shot them. They fall over, and you just do insane damage to them, and he's dead. So that could have been a dicey encounter, right? A stronger enemy with the axe plus a smaller enemy with, I don't know what he had, on this bridge. Very spooky, but I fought them all without having to swing my sword once. Well, wait, that's not true. I fought them all without having to swing my sword twice. Alright, and then yeah, just trying to be slow, deliberate, and thorough. We see a guy right here. He has no helmet on. He's no longer with us. Let's see what he was guarding up on this rooftop. So yeah, just... Oh, here's a guy. He saw us. I'm not going to try to shoot him. Oh yeah, so here's another thing. This is what I like to do with Flux. And this is a little tricky, but you're going to get in the hang of it, right? So with these small, basic human enemies, I tend to like to just heavy attack them down because it mulches them. They can't really do anything about it, right? Like, if they're not blocking, it does high damage and they die quickly. If they are blocking, it does high key damage and it breaks their guard and then they die quickly. Especially now when I don't have any skills and kind of my best DPS is just attacking in high stance. What I'll do is I'll do my high attack string, and you'll see that here. And then when I do my key pulse, I do a mid stance one. Low stance would work just as well. It's just mid is most convenient for me. And then I immediately switch from mid to high again. So all together it looks like this. Switch to mid, and I just slide my finger. So I hit square and then just slide my finger onto triangle. And that's how I keep up my pressure while also getting that bonus key from Flux. That way you can kind of, if you're completely out of key, like at 0, and every single attack that you do is taking you down to 0 again, you can keep up pressure forever this way. It's pretty nice. So yeah, Flux builds key out of nothing, keep up pressure forever, very useful. Alright, I hear someone yapping in here. Yeah, I can see him. The bow does work on yokai as well. So I could have headshotted this Gaki, and he would have died instantly with his big-ass head. It's pretty nice. Alright, we see there's something going on down here. I'm just going to plunging attack him. And that's the situation where Gaki can be dangerous, right? He was playing dead, and he tried to grab me there. And if he did grab me, he would do a lot of damage, right? These popcorn chump enemies in this game, they're dangerous. It would have done like 80% of my life bar probably. And then he would grow to a big Gaki, and then I would have a whole problem to deal with. Okay, I got a purple, and I still didn't get notified. Let me take a look at what settings I have for my gear notification, actually, because I don't think they are appropriate for what's going on. Is it menu settings? Yeah. Let's see here. Ethereal only, I see. I would like to be notified when I get purples. Perfect. Yeah, I will not be seeing ethereals at all on this playthrough. You don't start getting those till way later. Ah, look at that. We got a katana that's level 3, and we got a steel axe that's level 8. Wow. So let's equip the axe and the katana that I got. And you'll see I've gone up considerably in level and also attack. And there's one more mechanic here. Sorry, a lot of mechanics. You don't really need to know all these. When you use a specific weapon, like not like the weapon skill points where it's the weapon class, but like a specific weapon, like this black steel axe, it has a blue gauge here called familiarity. As you use that weapon, it levels this up, and it levels up fast, right? Like I've been using this, I was using that dual katana. I wasn't even using this one, I just had it equipped, and you see it's already almost capped on familiarity. That just makes your weapon stronger. It increases the amount of damage that you do, and maybe it does something else as well. No, it just says that you do more damage. But yeah, it just makes your weapon stronger. It's just a nice little mini RPG mechanic. All right, so with the axe, let's take a look at our moves. We have a nice wide sweeping attacks here, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not positive, don't use this weapon a lot. I think the mid-stance attacks on this weapon will not bounce off of guards. So that's nice. You have this option if you've got an enemy or two blocking you, you can just kind of keep them in a block string here. And then you can do like the make key out of nothing thing, except instead of mid to high, high to mid for the flux. Alright, our heavy attack looks like this. I don't think I'm ever going to use that, if I'm being honest. Low stance. What's that look like? Alright, that's nice. I really like that hilt poke a lot. That's a nice quick attack. That'll be nice for fighting Gaki. What about the low highs or heavies? It's kind of like a foot sweep. I probably don't think I'll be ever using that either. High stance. Yeah, that looks like about what I'd expect. And lastly, high stance heavy. Okay, that looks really nice for just damage. Let's keep up with our skill points. We have some for sword that I haven't cashed in. Same deal. I want to get quick draw on sword, so I'll work towards that, and then I'll decide what to get next. For dual swords, what do we have in here? So we already got the sign of the cross. So I have my burst damage dealer. So what I'm looking for now is something to do when enemies are blocking, and I want something to do for key damage. Do I have anything in here that would work for key damage? Oh, actually, this looks pretty nice. Makes the low stance dodge better. I forget dual swords are like this. Dual swords are a good weapon for Souls players, by the way. They just have better block than usual, better guard, like better dodges than usual. They're just nice generic attributes to your character get improved when you use them. I hear a Kodama, and I see right there, there's one of those suspicious yokai clouds. So I want to full clear this area before I peek that yokai cloud, because I don't want to engage in a fight with an unknown yokai. I mean, I know it's a yoki, but I don't want to engage in a fight with a potentially unknown yokai when I could get ambushed by Gaki or a foot soldier. Bad time. Alright. These buckets at wells have a funny mechanic. If you saw like a rock on here and then the rope on the well was tied to the rock, you can attack the rock and you get an item. There's never anything like too important hidden behind that mechanic. It's just one of many funny details that the game has. So you'll see there, I did a high stance heavy attack and just broke his horn immediately. I ran out of key, so I'm going to go ahead and use an Inky ability, and he just died before he knew what happened to him. Now that's kind of just axe things. If I had a different weapon, I would have had to actually like engage the enemy in proper combat. But as you can see, the axe is quite nice. And then with how good that heavy attack is, I think my next samurai skill point that I get, I'm going to want to put that in the perfect key pulse for high stance for the attack boost on my next attack. Okay, we have a shrine here. I don't think there was anything we needed to do at the shrine, right? Like I have 4 healing items and full health. I don't have any soul cores. So I can just ignore this shrine, right? Like these enemies are gone. This is a nice thing about Team Ninja games that I really like. Like, if you are playing decently well, you're keeping your health up, you're clearing enemies as you go, and you don't have to shrine up, you can just have the whole level empty, and it makes it really easy to backtrack at the end of the level if you missed something. All the enemies are dead, you can just look for what you're trying to find in peace. If there's any gate. Alright, yeah. I remember there was some kind of conversation there. Doesn't look like that was too important. I guess I should look at the item he gave me. I'll be honest, I never use 90% of the items this game gives you, but there are good ones, right? Like the Divine Branch Fragment, this is how you get out of a level. You lose all your souls, but you also leave the level, go back to the map. Harakiri Sword, you die and go back to your last shrine. These are helpful. They're stat effect ones. Like this will recover you from paralysis, which Gaki in this level will be able to paralyze you, so that might be a good thing to equip, actually. Let's see if anything else here. Sacred Water, I think, ups your key recovery. Yeah, I might as well equip that too, make the boss go faster. And then Travel Amulet, I think that takes you to a shrine without killing you. Yeah, Stone, that's like a projectile. I guess I could have used this before I got the bow to kind of fight enemies one at a time. And then, of course, you have your Spirit Stones, which are hard souls. Usual strategy for this applies, right? Like if you're about to fight a boss and you're like 100 away from a level up, just pop a spirit stone, get the 100 level up, and that way if you die to the boss, there's like 0 souls on the line. And then lantern plant fruit, you eat these and they give you an anima bar. Yeah, I don't really use that stuff, but you may find it is helpful for you. I thought I equipped this. I guess I did. Okay, and then I have a better bow already. A much better bow. Neat. Oh, there's an enemy there. Hello. Game awareness .exe is not installed on my computer. Oh, sorry about that. Sounds like my dog feels better now. So I tried to sneak up on that guy with the axe and the hat over here, and was not successful because there was another enemy over here who caught me. It would have been better if I just shot him with the bow, probably. I don't know if the hat would have blocked it or not. I was just kind of messing around. But I did shoot the enemy that was up here first, because if I shot him, the bow is silent, right? This guy looking this direction is not going to see me shoot the guy up there. So I could have just shot him and then snuck up on the other guy. What else did I do? Oh yeah, when the enemies ran towards me, you saw that the axe guy, he spent all of his ki running towards me, right? Because they work like I do. If they're going to run, they're going to spend ki to do it. And then all I had to do is do a light attack. And, you know, this choke point is tiny. The light attack covers the whole thing. Hit him one time, and he's down. So I just hit him, and then, you know, I see the other guys over here. I knock that guy down, I can grapple him real quick, and then it's a 1v1. So, you know, that's just, this game is all about managing your combat situations like that. And I played that really, like, loosey-goosey, right? Because I knew nothing was going to happen to me. I could have played that a lot safer, and I should have, and I recommend that you do. But yeah, just an idea of how this game's combat works. Now here, we've got a Scampus. These are little yokai that are friendly. You just talk to them, and they'll follow you around for a period of time. They give you a little buff, and they will also fight enemies for you. And they are, like, really strong. Like, they do extreme amounts of ki damage to enemies. They will bully enemies like crazy. Alright, so here we see a big old cloud, except it's covering an entire area. Well, this is a new mechanic in the game called Dark Realm. You remember how in the map screen it said there was one Dark Realm in this area that we needed to purify? That's what this is. So inside of this area, there is a giga, like, mini-boss enemy that we need to kill, who is operating this Dark Realm. And when we kill that enemy, it's going to dispel the Dark Realm. They're also going to guaranteed drop a soul core, I believe. You'll also notice the Scampus is powered up. So there's a couple of rules that apply in the Dark Realm. My ki recovery is slower in the Dark Realm. See that? It's pretty meaningfully slower. So you really need to be on top of your ki pulsing and your fluxing inside of the Dark Realm. However, there's a hidden bonus to your anima generation in the Dark Realm. You will get a lot more anima in the Dark Realm. So you really get rewarded for abusing your yokai abilities here. That's something you're really going to want to do. And then the other thing is, all yokai are stronger in the Dark Realm. They will have different patterns, or they'll have different attributes in here, right? We can demonstrate one right now. The Gaki, when you stagger a Gaki, I killed him. Okay, there's a Gaki right there, so we can freely kill this one as well. There we go. Alright, 2 Gaki down. I don't think there's... Sorry, my doggies are very upset today. Alright, let me show you something with this Gaki. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I staggered him, and what do we have here? What happens if I step in that? Nothing? Okay, I guess I have high para resistance. Okay, so in the Dark Realm, the Gakis will drop paralyzed pools when they get staggered or knocked over. That's something you want to keep an eye out for. Alright, so here's the mini-boss. I don't know how you can tell just by looking. I know just because I happen to know, but the music starts up when you fight the mini-boss. So I know this has got to be a stronger than usual in-key, and when I kill him, I'm going to dispel the Dark Realm. Now let's talk about something new. In the top left of the screen, you may have noticed there's like a little circular gauge, and that's your Guardian Spirit meter. When that's at 100%, you can enter Living Weapon mode, which you just saw me do. It's correlated to the Guardian Spirit that you have equipped, and you just have a different moveset. And in addition to how the Dark Realm gives you more anima, the Guardian Spirit gives you a lot more anima as well. So you kind of, when you're in Guardian Spirit, it's like a secondary life bar for one, right? Like, if you get hit in the Living Weapon, it just lowers your Living Weapon duration. Your play pattern when you're in Living Weapon, sorry, is attack enemies with light attack is your default. When you get an opening, use your charged heavy. You only have to do the charged heavy once, and it powers up your Living Weapon state. And then just kind of mash attack on them and use yokai abilities as they come up. They will come up a lot. Like, you're gonna be like, attack, 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 yokai ability, attack, 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 yokai ability. And generally speaking, that's gonna be enough to really majorly chunk an enemy and also stagger them, probably. Alright, cool. We have a new thing in Make an Offering, that's the Kodama Bazaar. This is going to be a way that you can refill on your elixirs. So if you ever are like out of elixirs, and when you hit a shrine you're still not at max elixirs, you can buy more here. You can also buy arrows here and some other stuff. I don't usually mess with this, but it's a nice thing to have. Usually this is how you deal with running out of elixirs or arrows. And, oh yeah, and then one other thing, getting Kodama allows you to have more elixirs in your inventory, right? And I can go to my favorite, which is the Amrita. Somewhere here you can tell how many of the Kodama in an area you've gotten. Is it here? 5 out of 7. Okay, I've gotten 5 out of the 7 Kodama in this level. And then the boss is here. Alright, so I'm going to show off right here. You see on my mini-map, there's like a little pink dot. That means that there's a boss there. So if I was to open this door into that pink dot, I'd be locked into the boss, and if I died, I'd go back to the shrine. But if I win, if I beat the boss, then the level's over. And I've noticed, I have dispelled the one Dark Realm I was trying to dispel, but I've only got 6 out of 7 Kodama, which means somewhere in this level's a Kodama that I missed. And I'm going to need to go back and find him. So I'm running out of time, right? PlayStation is telling me that I have 1 more minute left on my 60-minute recording. So I'm going to end this video here. Off camera, I'm going to go look for the Kodama that I missed. And then in my next video, we're going to pick it up right here. I'm going to go fight the boss, and then we're going to go on to the next level. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. This was kind of just putting into practice a lot of the theoretical knowledge that we've learned so far. And honestly, from the things that I've covered in this video and the ones previous, you've got basically 99% of what you need to be successful in Nioh 2. The only things left we really need to talk about are going to be applying your game knowledge in more scenarios, and ninjutsu and Onmyo magic. So that's going to be it for today. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.